There's a lot to do with my Magic the Gathering business for Tap for Games. There's always more work that I have available than I actually have hours when it comes to trying to work on this Magic the Gathering business. A lot of the time, I find myself, after I finish my 9 to 5, a little bit drained and prioritizing incorrectly. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is kind of how my usual days stack up and my schedule, and how I've chosen to build a structure to ensure that this business continues to move forward. So hello there, in case you're new here, my name is Josh. I run Tap for Games here out of my basement. I'm a Magic the Gathering reseller business. I do have some other card products like Pokemon, but my main focus is Magic the Gathering because that's the game that I play, and it's the game that I like most. And a lot of the time, I'm spending my YouTube experience or presence in a way that's trying to document what I'm doing with my business in order to help grow myself and kind of create a documented history of Tap for Games itself. If you find that interesting, go ahead, click the subscribe button. I'd love to see you around. So quick context, kind of framing the business. I've been doing this for about 5 full months, and I'm in my 6th month here in July in 2026. I've got 22,000 units listed and about 7,000 unique SKUs, and 15,000 units that I have in my backlog that have not quite gotten to the store yet. And I'm currently moving across 3 different platforms: Manapool, TCG Player, and my direct store. My current day job, the one that brings in the most money for me, is what's helping kind of fund the business and get it off the ground. There's a lot of capital contributions that I have done in order to ensure that I'm not in debt, but the business profitability is not moving in the right direction. That's kind of why I started doing the Back to Black series that you may have seen on my shorts or anything else. If you haven't seen those, it's a daily sales vlog of what I've got going on. Anyway, I'm a director of sales at this position, and I've got several team members underneath me. So I have a lot of phone calls, meetings, conversations with customers, conversations surrounding the customers, and internal dialogue on top of managing different tech stacks to ensure that these people are successful in hitting their quotas and targets for the business. Wow, that's a fancy way to say that I am running a sales team. With this job, I'm basically at home Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. But the reality is that job is so intense that I'm at my desk basically the entirety of it. And I don't have time to separate and do a little bit of work on the side for Tap for Games. And I kind of like it that way because it creates a nice separation between the two. However, it did create a lot of interesting issues for me as I've been working through these last couple of months. For example, I would be done and pretty dogged tired after all of my meetings and phone calls, especially on Wednesday when I'm in the office and I've got a lot of face-to-face interactions. And those interactions can't always be avoided because they just come over to your desk, whereas a phone call you can slightly ignore and call them back in 10 minutes. But what would happen is I would finish my day and I'd come down here into the basement and I would just do what I find the most fun. And I think that that is okay in a way. However, it can't detract from your ability to get other aspects completed. And I was definitely running into that. For example, getting orders picked, packed, and shipped, sometimes I'd wait towards the end of the night and then I'd be spending 2 hours trying to get that all together and out the door before I hit the bed. So that's why I kind of came up with a 3-bucket system in order to help me think through everything. So that way, when I do get home from the main job, I'm not trying to kill myself and making even more decisions as to what I need to work on. And we have each one of these just in a simple ABC bucket. A bucket is to basically keep the store alive. The B bucket is to grow the store, and the C bucket is nice to haves but are not necessary in order for the business to be successful. So what do I mean by each individual bucket specifically? So bucket A, the one that is you must do these things, that's my auto pricer. I have that thing going off every single day, and it's checking prices and readjusting everything for me. But in order to ensure that I don't undercut or have big major issues, it will flag prices that are above or below a certain threshold. And it'll kind of basically put those to the side. And I have to review each one of these cards to ensure that it's not dropping because somebody decided to do a 50% off of a store cost of their product that they're trying to move. So once I get through those, then I have my orders. So bucket A is ensuring that prices are correct and that orders are going out the door so that customers are happy. These are things that must happen every single day to ensure that the business continues to thrive and cash keeps coming in. Bucket B, the grow the store slowly concept. That one's focused mostly on getting backlogs, like the 15,000 I've already mentioned, up and into the store and also conditioned because they have to be accurate in order for customer experiences to be what I'm hoping for. Meaning they're not getting a card that's actually damaged or heavily played or mostly played and it's listed as a near mint card. It's just a simple fact of the business. It's something that all of us have to learn in it, and it's one of those things that you can't really skimp on, especially once a card's over the bulk price of $2.50. The nice to have bucket is one of the ones that I find kind of going into a back burner kind of category, and that's YouTube, because YouTube does require a lot of thinking, planning, scripting, thumbnails, title creation, all that great stuff, and it does take a lot of time and brain power. And then the other one is trying to find and source good deals. And most of these things are important, don't get me wrong, but technically speaking, I can just bring in product and then get it listed and get it sold and not actually have to create or develop a YouTube content strategy around it. I just do it because I enjoy it. Doing this has helped me really keep the business a lot more structured, thinking about it in terms of these three buckets. This way I don't have to think very hard about what I need to get done on a daily basis. And when I'm feeling very drained, I know what are the key essential pieces that I must get completed before I call it a day for Tap for Games as a business. And as it continues to grow and hopefully scale, these things probably will change and expand. But for right now, these are working for me. So that leads me to my question, as it were, to those of you who are watching. If you have a bucket A, what's in your bucket A? I know that not everybody's on my level, and I know that there are people that are in a very different category within this. So I'm asking my peers more than anything, what is your bucket A when you get home? Do you also focus specifically on orders? Or is there something else that you also lump into bucket A as must do? If so, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to see what they are, and I'm happy to respond to anything or any questions that you might have. And in this case, probably go, oh my gosh, I never thought of that before, because that seems to be what happens in my comments more than anything. So yes, if you enjoy content like this, behind the scenes and trying to understand how things are done, if you are wanting to take the leap and start selling cards online, consider subscribing. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm building that right here live as best I can on YouTube. And if there's anything else that I've not covered in this video that you have questions on, drop it in the comments below. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a peer to me directly, in the selling space, I should say. You could just be somebody who's curious about this in general. I'd love to have a conversation. My email's also downstairs in the description. Downstairs. The description of the video. Until next time, looking forward to seeing you in the next one.